Welcome, one and all, to the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast for our review of WrestleMania Night 2. Now, folks, I do apologize. We were not able to make it to you last night. There was a tragedy, but for those involved, we will just simply not go into the details on that. But, folks, we are here now to give you the analysis. We're here to give you our analysis of WrestleMania Night 2 and all of the happenings. I am your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast hour, the prince and potentate of the political parlance. One handsome man, if I do say so myself, and the former Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion. And I am joined this evening by my indomitable broadcast partner, the one, the only,
non-chill filtered, quadruple distilled blend master of ceremonies himself, and the 17-time Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion, Tony Fuck.
Oh, no. It happened. Tony took the title last night. It literally came down.
Spoiler alert.
It came down to the main event, though.
You just couldn't accept it.
But no, it did come down actually to the main event. So that is appropriate. It came all the way down.
It did.
To Phil KOE and Tony G, John Cena, and Cody Rhodes. It was almost poetic, if you will. And so I'm gonna I have to say, Tony, 2 records were set that night. Because John Cena says that he is the only 17-time world champion. That is not true. That is not the case. Because equally as important, equally as good, equally as momentous, Tony G is now the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion for the 17th time. Tony, how does it feel?
I mean, you keep saying it was equal, but I mean, really, I've accomplished this feat in a much shorter time than John Cena, so
really, yes, you should be complimented on. So you're saying that your feat is actually somehow greater than John Cena's from last night?
I mean, let's not beat around the bush. I mean, I don't want to take his moment away, but let's be truthful here.
All right, fair enough. Now, T, I'm wondering here. Let's before we get to the main event, let's start off night 2. It was coming off the heels of night 1, and let me say, in terms of a 2-night event, this one was actually paced properly, because I remember there was one year where we were just exhausted from night 1.
That's
and
true.
Like night 2, we kind of had to slog through it to see who was going to win the main event.
The COVID year, and I'll apologize now for my storm outside, it sounds like, and this hotel I'm at, the Wi-Fi is not the greatest, so if I cut in and out, I do apologize. But yeah, no, the pacing was really pretty good, and they did a good job throughout the 2 evenings to really make it not yeah, like you said, a slog to get through, which, yeah, like year was specifically comes to mind. That was a slog to get through regardless, but they made it a marathon, and this didn't feel like that either night.
Yeah, well, night one had a big crescendo. Night two was better, but night one's main event was better. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think you're right overall in terms of quality. Moment wise, I'd almost say on par. I mean,
Hmm.
sure, there was gold involved in night two, but I, I don't know. I felt like moving forward, night one had more of an impact.
Hmm. I gotta disagree there, man.
We'll get into that. We'll get
All
into
right,
that, and I'll
so all right,
explain
let's start off
why I
with
feel
the
that way.
first match of night two. Okay, what?
Let's start off because this, honestly, this may have been the match of the weekend. This I knew this was going to be good.
Let's not
No,
get
I'm dead serious. This was better than I expected in a lot of ways. Triple threat matches are by default usually a lot of one person laying around, and sure, it's impossible to avoid that completely. Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. This was a women's triple disappoint. It exceeded my expectations, and they were already fairly high. The pacing of this was really good, and I'd say like 90% of the spots made a lot of sense. It wasn't like, oh, let's set this up and then you go take a break. Oh, let's set that up and then you go take a break. They all were pretty crisp. They were all pretty on point, and the big spots made sense, and they weren't overly cooperative gymnastics. Do see with a lot of these multi-person matches. This was really spectacular. This is probably easily going to be women's match of the year, and I mean that with any hyperbole. This was fantastic, and I'm not taking anything away from Io Sky. She got the win, and but this made me want to see Bianca and Rhea one on one even more. So that's
Well,
what this leads to.
yeah, you got to give them credit. They found a way to somehow hold off the match everyone wants to see just a little longer. Io Sky, other than her having the belts, her placement here was peculiar. I feel like they could have got the belt off of her sooner just to give us the match we wanted. But this was pretty good. I mean, I'm like, women's match of the year. We still got a lot of year to go yet. And
Good luck matching
match of
this.
WrestleMania, not even close. I'm sorry, not even close. I'm sorry, but main event
We
of night
can
one is
agree to
way
disagree on that.
better than the opener for night two. And yeah, it's not even close.
I've got I've got some summarization. This is all coming from Andreas Hale on X. Sequence started when Belair kicked out of the Riptide, later an Avalanche Riptide, countered by Hurricane Rana from Sky over the moon. So got her feet up to kick Sky into an awaiting Belair. That was a really great spot. She hits Sky with a kick. Belair had the match won. Ripley broke up the pin attempt on Sky. Ripley countered a Poison Rana from Sky by slamming her into the ring post. Belair followed by snatching her off the turnbuckle. Belair was able to get the win again, but Sky came crashing in with the on Belair to pick up the win, retain the title, and it all worked flawlessly. Like I said, like the night one main event, triple threat for legends, professionals, veterans. You knew that was going to be seamless. I was actually more impressed with how seamless this one was because these gals are not as uh, at doing. That's what impressed me the most out of this one, I think.
I'll give this one 3.5 stars. It was a decent match.
Yeah, you clearly didn't watch it. 4 stars, hands down. Actually, I'd even go 4.25. Yeah, 4.25.
All righty. Moving right along to the deadest dead spot and all dead spots of the
And why
deadiest.
was it such a dead spot? Because it was a championship match that was before it that had the crowd frothing at the mouth.
I'll give you that. The crowd was actually enjoying that match. It was good, but like I'm sorry, but T, it's not better than the main event of night one. I'm sorry. In terms of it wasn't even the best triple threat match of that card. Okay, like,
there was only 2.
Exactly. And so I'm. It was a great match, but we still got a lot of year yet. So I'm gonna reserve the right to withhold saying this is women's match of the year yet. All right, because we could still get Bianca versus Ripley 1-on-1. We still could
That's
potentially.
fine. I'm just saying this is clearly head and shoulders runner, and it's not even close right now.
Yeah.
And you're completely allowed to just disregard some of this, but this one overperformed in a lot of ways.
I'll concede, sure, it might have overperformed, but yeah, this didn't light me on fire like it did you, clearly. But hey,
I mean, obviously you were half asleep. That's okay. You were a little more tuckered out from night one than you want to admit. That's fine.
I still need my nap time. Yeah.
You had Ripley in that one. I had Belair.
We were both wrong.
We were both wrong. We were both 5-5 to start the night. We were 5-5 the night before. Started the night 5-5. One, you had Priest. I had McIntyre. Again, this is coming from Andreas Hale. In a meeting of physicality, McIntyre pushed the other than Priest to pick up. McIntyre finished the job by sending Priest off at the top rope through 2 tables and followed with a Claymore kick as Priest's head was wedged in the. That was a pretty good spot. But yeah, this was a very difficult spot for these guys. And I think they knew that going in. That's why they put that here, because this was a weapon lazy booking match. But you got 2 big horses in this. So worked because be violent with each other, large men taking a little bit extra of a beating. So that's why this was here. That's why this worked. This one didn't any means. I'm a fan, but I've never clicked with Priest. I've never understood the allure. I mean, I've seen the potential, but it's just never worked out the way it should have. And who's got a brighter future here? Drew McIntyre by leaps and bounds. And it's not like they might actually be about the same age. Actually, Drew could even be younger. I can't remember. You'd think Priest is, but he's not. So I
like this match more than I thought it was. I really liked that match more than I thought it was going to be. Their Las
you didn't
Vegas
think you were going to like it at all.
Yeah, true be told. Like, I thought they were going to put that on the pre-show because it didn't even give it a photo for its promo. But
yeah,
they made the most of the limited time they were given. Okay, like let's be frank. They had a lot of hard hits, but I feel like they were told, all right, shave 5 minutes off, guys. We gotta condense. The girls went a little long.
And rightfully so. They deserved it.
Now, did we get to the tag match?
Did we what?
Did we review the tag team title match?
What tag match?
New Day. No, New Day versus. Was that night one?
That was night one.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Oh, goodness gracious. But yeah,
we already, Phil. We did that Saturday.
Okay, it's been a very hectic weekend, folks.
Indeed.
But yeah, the McIntyre match. Okay, Tony, my issues with McIntyre are well documented. Okay, my consistent smack talk. He impressed me here. He actually impressed me. I was actually very happy with what I saw there. I gave it 3.25. How about yourself?
It was a little less generous. I gave it 3 because it's not like they reinvented the wheel here. I knew what we were going to get. I mean, it was a street fight. It was a no rules. It was weapons. It was fine. And it's with a guy I like, and he picked up the win, and I picked him. So I had no complaints. I mean, it didn't light me on fire, and the match was exactly what I expected it to be. So yeah, it was a good solid 3.
Alrighty. So what's the next match on the card, sir? If you could even hear what I just said.
So, hey, I'm just seeing a internet troubleshooting thing I'm gonna have to dick with the rest of this week. Good to know. So after the
I was about to say, do you need me
went
to just
into
stretch for you for a little bit of time here, T,
no,
and
no,
song and dance it?
I'm gonna chance like ruining my internet completely while we're in the middle of this.
What if I play us watching WrestleMania last year?
So we're moving along. We move on to the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental title. That would be Braun Breaker defending against Finn Balor, Penta, and Dominic Mysterio. And this was, it wasn't very long.
No, but I fucking loved it.
It was really good. This was a lot more of a case of people having to sit around and wait. I mean that just happens because it's even busier when you add another person to a 3-way. So, but it worked. I mean, you've got a guy like who's known for those spots where, okay, I'll wait until my cue and then I'll hit this big flashy move. And it was perfect for that. And I'd say it's probably fair to say Finn Balor's been guilty of that several times as well, because he's been in a lot of multi-man matches too. Um, on the other hand, Dominic and Braun, I think, really both shined in this one, as expected with Braun. He looked,
No. Looked
no,
like
I
a
mean, he
billion
always
bucks.
does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait to see where he goes from here. Braun Breaker is the, dare I say, the breakout star of 2024, 2025.
Hands down.
And to me, especially this year, his Royal Rumble performance will still go down. Like, Tony, I don't know if I'll ever be able to mention Braun Breaker without mentioning him spearing I Show Speed into another dimension. Okay, I don't like it. It will always be one of my favorite, probably my favorite spot of the new wrestling era. Okay, like that, with beyond a shadow of a doubt. So Braun Breaker will always hold a special place in my heart for that. I really hope that they decide to put like some real pieces of crap like Hassan Abbey in front of Braun Breaker. Let him do that one to some of the pieces of crap that I've had to encounter online and the people who orbit them. Okay, like that would actually make me like, okay, Braun, we need you to just spear every loudmouth on the internet there ever was. Can you just please do that for us? But yes,
So I could tell you exactly where Braun should have gone from this. However, I doubt that's where they're going to go now because of the way the opening match of night one ended.
yep. Should
Let's
have been
not
Braun
even.
and Gunther for the world title.
Yeah, it should have been. That should have
Yeah.
headlined
Now,
SummerSlam. But what do I know?
if Braun is going to be facing Uso for the world heavyweight title, enjoy your last few days as champion, Jay. Okay, but
Pretty
anyhow,
much. So
but I
yeah,
gotta say,
we did enjoy this.
Dirty Dom T
So
at the
yeah,
Mania.
this was my pick, Dominic Mysterio. We're glad I picked it because I felt like it made sense, and it did, and it worked out perfectly. Again, Andreas Hale on X. At one point, Mysterio was one of the most hated talents on the roster, but beloved stars, and capped the night off by winning the Intercontinental title. Balor hits the coup de grace on Breaker. Oh, must mention first when Dominic did the drop kick to Finn and then tried to hit the six on him. Like, it was just a great sequence. But yeah, Balor hits a coup, but Mysterio by hitting a perfectly timed frog splash to break the pin up ends up pinning Balor and picks up the win. Like, this was perfect. The number one talent on ESPN's under 30 picked up the biggest win of his career on the grandest stage of them all. It was perfect. That was exactly how that should have gone. And he had to pin Balor. It was perfect.
Yep. Braun doesn't lose any shine, and he can move on to the next big thing. Penta got to actually be on WrestleMania, so he can't complain there. And Dirty Dom with the big old W. So yeah, I can't complain about that. I gave that one 3.75. I was thoroughly entertained.
I would go. It needed to be longer, so I'll stay with 3.25.
Yeah, they didn't give it much time, but in the short time they gave it, and my God, when Braun Breaker flies through the air for his spear, you just know that poor SOB on the other end is just going to be crying the next day because he just about caves that guy's chest in every time. But all right, moving right along.
So on the next one, notes that I feel obligated. Um, I was truly ecstatic, yet slightly saddened. Match ended, but the next one was the Randy Orton Open Challenge.
Okay, now T. All right, may I have a moment here? Okay, for the Randy Orton Open Challenge. I think we lost T for a second. All right, no, he's back. All right. So we have Randy Orton come down and talks about how this is his 20th anniversary in WrestleMania. And then there's the long wait where the camera pans up and pans up and pans up to the entrance ramp. And then the music hits. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry because they love him in London and Paris.
You don't have the
Tokyo,
tempo right. You're killing me.
America, Scotland, Canada, Mexico.
You're
they
killing
say,
me.
I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. At least I have the bandwidth to sing the whole fucking song. Fuck you.
Okay, but the tempo, you're killing me. Ugh.
Okay, brutal. You sing it then. Let's see if we can get through a single line.
I will when I have better internet. I just don't want to not do it justice.
You ain't even got the bandwidth to do it, fucker. I believe in my ability to
his
believe
entrance
in Joe
music
Hendry.
gets played all the time in my house because my daughter thinks it's hilarious.
Oh, so Tony, after that night, I believe in Joe Hendry.
How do you not? It was beautiful. He's the TNA, and you gave him an out by, okay, he's the TNA champion, but it's Randy Orton's WrestleMania anniversary, and he got caught up in the spectacle, took his eye off the prize, and got caught with an RKO. And it was sweet. Didn't make him look. So, like, this was fan service, and it worked perfectly.
That and Randy didn't have to really beat himself up too much.
No. Now, here's the thing. We both picked who it could be, and had it been that, well, myself that I didn't pick Joe Hendry, but I'm even more mad to find out
didn't
that
believe in Joe Hendry.
As we're doing this live stream, Phil, I had Rusev picked as one of my mystery opponents, and guess what? He just debuted back on Raw tonight as we're doing this.
Rusev, dude. Did they have any English with him?
I doubt it.
Oh.
People.
Oh, well. Now.
But, yeah, of that quick match, 2 stars.
I still gave it 3 stars. I loved it.
Oh, come on. It was quick. It was to the point. It was good enough. 2 stars is plenty.
Fuck you. No, 3 stars. I enjoyed it.
Well, if Joe Hendry 4.5, I would have marked out so hard. You have no idea.
Oh my goodness. Like, don't get me wrong. It's pretty awesome. Kind of shocked Randy Orton didn't like hold up the belt, be like, I'm TNA champion now. Guess what? That's like, I would totally do that. And TNA would probably rather he did.
Yeah.
But anyway,
moving on. Yeah, we move on to what was a really solid match. AJ Styles, Logan Paul. This was really good, but this was not paced the way I expected it to be.
No, it was a lot slower. You can tell AJ
this.
Slowed it down.
AJ definitely slowed it down, and he's coming to a close in his career, and he signed a new contract, but I'd be surprised if he finishes that in the ring, to be frank. Like, you could see it here. Like, he's slowed down a lot, but I think himself through contract. But Logan Paul really, I'm not going to call him a ring general, but AJ Styles put him in a position to look the part. Like this was a Tom McGee if Tom McGee had talent when he wrestled Bret Hart. Because AJ Styles is a ring general, but he made Logan Paul look even better than he already is. And Logan Paul's fantastic. So this worked just spectacularly. Logan 80% of this match, and he's doing it. The fucking acai move 90% of the ring, that was ridiculous. Like, good Lord, that guy is just a phenomenal athlete. Like, you can love him or hate him on his social media and boxing and whatever, but the guy is just a freak athlete, and he looks like he belongs in the
I
ring.
like
And at this point, if anything, that they're on drugs.
I like the intro video where it said AJ talked about AJ Styles and all the battle scars he had achieved along the way to get to where he was versus Logan Paul. No battle scars, just kind of born to a golden path, and yet here he is. And I love Logan Paul's awful song about how he could just stay so humble. And
it's
I'm like,
beautiful.
oh my God, really?
He is the heel like that you aspire to be, and he didn't even have to put any effort into it. It's just so natural.
They really should put him in The Rock and Cena's little stable. He'd be perfect.
I'm ready to put a belt on him, like a major one. Fuck it. Do it.
Yeah. He's
I'm
2
ready.
years away from main eventing WrestleMania.
And do it.
Probably like 20 years from being president of the United States at the fucking rate this kid's going. Okay.
So I'm going to well again here. Andreas Hale on X. Pacing this match was sluggish with some explosive spots spread throughout, but Paul picked up the biggest win of his WrestleMania career by pinning Styles. Relatively uneventful match concluded when one of Paul's friends brought brass knuckles carrying cross and her transfer. Thanking him, Styles laid Cross out with the brass knucks because he and just punched Cross. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about all of a sudden. With his attention taken, Paul laid Styles out with the pulverizer and collected the 3 count. Yeah, he didn't like. I thought it was a great example of how good AJ Styles is in the ring, and yeah, I thought it was sure it was like we already said, it was a slower pace than you want from a prime AJ Styles, but prime AJ Styles that was several years ago. Like at this point, any AJ Styles you get is going to be still good AJ Styles, but we're not talking past his prime who's still going to give a 3-star match Styles, and he still looks incredible.
I gave it 3.5. I actually enjoyed that match.
I can't disagree. I think 3.5 is fair.
And yeah, it was
the ending was a little
it was convoluted. Like for a second, I almost wondered if Cody was agenting the match.
Yeah, there was that.
It's like, oh, hey, Karrion Kross. Remember him? Yeah.
That was unnecessary. We could have gotten there without Kross, but whatever. No, I liked the match. And to be fair, I think I even said this on the prediction show. I only picked AJ because like this is one of the last times I'm going to be able to pick AJ Styles. I expected Paul to win. Paul did win, and he deserved to win. Like that was a nostalgic like homer pick for me. So yeah, I knew I should have picked Logan Paul too, but in the end, it didn't matter.
It's AJ. You can always be forgiven for picking AJ, T. We know he's one of your favorites in the universe. Okay.
Always will be.
Yep. And it's just a tragedy that his world title run also had to have the Jinder Mahal experiment happen in the middle of it. Yeah. But anywho,
he took the belt off Jinder.
Yeah, but isn't that he dropped it to Jinder and then he got it back off Jinder? Or am I off?
No, Jinder Orton for it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, AJ to put the belt on him right before he faced Brock Lesnar.
All
Otherwise, we
righty.
would have Paul versus Brock Lesnar.
Otherwise, Jinder Mahal versus Brock, you say?
That's what it would have been if they didn't put the belt on AJ a week before that match.
Ooh, that'd have been rather one-sided, because I imagine Brock Lesnar would have been all kinds of okay with jobbing to yet another member of three-man band.
Okay, moving on.
But Tony, don't you understand? They're a three-man band.
Good time to refer.
Yes, good time to refresh. Don't you understand? They're a three-man band. Tony always wondered why I always have a problem with Drew McIntyre, and it's because Tony remembers him as the badass from TNA. I remember him from "We're a three-man band." Like, yeah, I'm never going to be able to shake that. I'm sorry. Now, because I actually really dug the theme music. I actually really liked Three Man Band. It was silly, but I liked it. Okay? It's like, yeah, throw in Jinder Mahal in there. Why not? Like, why not? Like, it's so, yeah, sorry, T. That's just always going to be the case. You did kind of
I know.
You nailed it right on the head. Like, it's because you'd see three-man band, isn't it? Like, yeah, it's kind of that. It's kind of a lot of that, T.
It's all that. All right. Let's move on. This one, this was women's tag team champ. Lyra Valkyria and Liv Morgan, or no, excuse me. Lyra Valkyria and Bailey were supposed to go up against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, the defending champions.
I'm going to lose power here
Bailey,
soon.
Oh, good. Okay, so Bailey ever, and they replace her last minute. Had we known that, I definitely wouldn't have picked Liv and Raquel to retain like you didn't. Lucky you. One, because the surprise partner was Becky Lynch, and great reception. Match was fine. Not much more to say about it, except they put the belts on a returning Becky, and then apparently, as we're doing this, they turned Becky heel, and they turned her on Lyra. To set it up for, I'm guessing, her versus Becky for the IC women's title at Backlash. I don't know.
You know, to me, like, the crowd loved it. I gave it 2.75. It was decent.
It was 2.5 stars. Plenty.
Yeah. Now, what's the next match?
Next match was the main event. So we
okay. I got a few minutes before, like, T, you might have to close this show out when my battery runs out of my computer. But what I will say is I love John Cena as a heel. I love it. I love how when he's grabbing the ropes and Cody's on, he's like, "Get off of me. Just get off of," like, he's just so standoffish, and it's refreshing. He's like his disdain for the crowd is so thick. Like, it's just I love every bit of it. I loved this match until Travis Scott came down. Then he got a receipt from Cody, and I loved this match. I could not stop laughing my ass off the minute I saw Travis Scott. His dick hit the dirt, and he actually sold it, to his credit. And yeah, I Tony, what's your thoughts while I'm still here?
I liked the match. I liked how John started the match slow, but then took control and controlled the pace. And every time Cody got some momentum, he would shut it down. But then he couldn't put Cody away no matter how hard he tried. And then, yeah, the Travis Scott music hits, and it took him an hour to get to the fucking ring. This killed this spot.
Yep. Because he was told to get down there quickly.
So he goes down there at a snail pace, finally gets there, and the whole series of Cody finally getting that payback on him, which, whatever, it just took forever. And you had no involvement from The Rock since the Cena heel turn, and The Rock didn't show up here. It's like he injected himself into this storyline and made them change all the creative plans, and then he disappeared. So instead of The Rock and John Cena hoisting up the belt, it was John Cena and Travis Scott. It was awkward. It was weird, and The Rock needs to just not be allowed to inject himself into shit. But again, at the end, uh, John went for the belt shot. Cody catches it, gets the belt, could take the shot, refuses to do it because he's not a bad balls, gets beat in the head with the belt, gets pinned. John Cena is a 17-time champion. The ending was fine. It was just the whole thing with Travis Scott really took me out of this. It was so long and plotting. If it was The Rock, it would have been a lot quicker, concise. It would have this. I don't know. It was a fine match. I give it 3.25. I could go higher, but Travis Scott killed this for me.
I would have gone 4 stars if Travis Scott would have like at least somewhat hurried down the ring. But I've gone 3.75. I'd have gone 4-star or higher. But Travis Scott did get a receipt from Cody, so I love
Good
it.
enough.
Now I disagree with in terms of The Rock. I think it's good that we need to have a modern era pay-per-view that doesn't rely on The Rock, Stone Cold, or The Undertaker.
That's fine. That's fine. We didn't need to rely on him to begin with, but he inserted himself into the situation and then he bailed.
I think he was necessary for the heel turn. I do. I really do think he was necessary. But we didn't.
Yeah, but had he not injected himself in the first place, the heel turn would not have happened.
Exactly. So,
and then he needed to be around to see it through. Otherwise, it makes no sense. How did he sell his soul to The Rock? Well, The Rock wasn't there. So what the fuck good did that do?
No, because Cody didn't, but John Cena clearly did. Cena clearly did.
Not.
So
obviously not. Obviously needed Travis Scott.
I mean,
which
Tony,
is fucking ridiculous.
Let's be frank. Tony, when you defeated me for the RXW title, you needed Travis Scott to beat me. Okay, like that. This is well-known, documented fact. I don't even know if he was like born yet at that point, but we yes, Tony, this is all documented fact.
No, my point is, if The Rock's going to feel the need to inject himself into stuff, he needs to fucking see it through and not just pick and choose when he gets a wild hair up his ass to, I'm just going to change the biggest storyline into the biggest season of the year. And then, I've kind of got some other stuff. I'll just, you guys have got this. It's fine. He's a very big problem moving forward. Like, we got rid of Vince, and now we have a Rock problem.
Yeah, but a Rock problem's a lot better than a Vince problem. Okay.
Well, that to be seen, Phil. Like, this could get a lot worse.
I don't think so.
2 years in a row.
I know you're sour about it, but he sold out a WrestleMania without him being on the card. Okay,
it's you 2 years in a row.
Eventually have to treat your roster like they're big boys. Okay,
with him being there or not, it's he made himself story and then took himself out for no reason.
Tony,
and last year he changed the booking like 3 times. He needs to avoid the main event at all costs. I agree. He does not need to be there. So he should not be allowed to inject himself storyline last minute, change everything. Tony, decide on a whim whether or not he shows up.
This is where you're wrong.
I'm not
this
wrong.
WrestleMania, we didn't get Rock, but we did get Joe Hendry.
And we got Stone Cold running into the barricade and almost killing a fan. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. that was a bit of a late sell there. But yes. She's going to be sitting next to green shirt guy for a while now. I think like that's the best way. Like now, T, if you and I were there, it's like Nick Khan's like, hey, give us tickets next to green shirt guy for next year's WrestleMania, and we'll call it square.
Yeah, see you in New Orleans.
Yeah. Like, I was about to say, like, come on. Now, between you and me, there was a study done, a family of 4 going to WrestleMania weekend. Do you know how much you're going to spend on average?
I don't know.
Around $10,000.
Woof.
Yeah. And like Jim Cornette's like, how much more money can they squeeze out of the same marks? They have squeezed blood from a stone. And Jim Cornette.
Unless you're green shirt guy who apparently prints money in his spare time.
I was about to say apparently that's what that shirt's made of. Just money.
Clearly. So yeah.
Or overall, like he's got a good paying job, no family, and no other passions in life. I can't figure it out. So
that would help. So overall, I think it's a pretty decent WrestleMania. It wasn't like a one of the best of all time, but it was pretty good top to bottom. I enjoyed a lot of it, and I'm excited to see what they do next with Cena as the champion. Cody's going to take some time off, and I think that was the whole point. So I'm interested to see what they'll do because he's got to have some big time final matches with this run with the belt before he drops it to whomever. He'll put it back on Cody to finish this back out, or if we're gonna look to do something else. We can speculate about that at another time, though.
Apparently, Cena and Orton are feuding now. So
That's what I wanted at Mania.
They gotta
Orton.
they gotta get one last feud in before he's done.
And I think that'd be great for SummerSlam, which is apparently a fucking 2-night event.
No, no. Oh my God. Yeah. Like Tony, all right, just between you and me, not for me, it ain't. I ain't no, I'm not doing 2 nights of SummerSlam. Okay. Like I'll watch night 1 like over lunch for night 2. And no, man, come on. We all the worst part. I'm going to say this while I still got some power. The worst part about the 2-night events is now you can't say honey, kids, I'm watching WrestleMania Sunday night.
Yeah.
Because no, it's the whole weekend. And so because it's the whole weekend, you can't block out the whole weekend. You still have to do stuff. Okay. So you don't get to enjoy your wrestling or your family that weekend. It's actually the worst of both worlds. So
yeah,
I despise the 2-night events. Eventually us fans are gonna have to push back, and SummerSlam is where I push back. Okay, I'm not letting WWE turn every single eventually when's WrestleMania gonna become 3 nights then? Because it's such a bigger event. It's no way one weekend can hold WrestleMania. And so eventually it's gonna be WrestleMania week, and there's gonna be 7 different main events. And CM Punk will get to main event night 3 on a 4-for-1 special, like he prophesized against MJF, but then CM Punk does it. He main events night 1 of a 2-night of a buy one get one free.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there you have
I
it.
love WrestleMania and I love wrestling, but the 2-night event is ass and needs to end forever.
Absolutely, could not agree more.
Well, T, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us here at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast for our review of WrestleMania Night 2. I am your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes it the podcast car, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, one handsome man if I do say so myself. You can, of course, find me at KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. And I hope all of you make it back here to the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Happy, healthy, much the wiser. God bless. Travel well. Tony G, 17-time champ. Take it away.
As I prophesized, John Cena and I once again have several things in common, and it's not just our balding spot on the back of our heads. It's championships. We've got Backlash coming up soon. We'll see what we can do for that, and we've got more speculation on the Cena title run to finish out his career. So looking forward to that. But make sure you're subscribed, liked, shared, all that good stuff, so we can come back and speculate more on the next one. We will see you then.
Peace.